Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be looking at that chuck sound and how, talking about how you can mix it in with your strumming rhythms. So maybe think like this kind of thing though. Or we really can mix it in with anything, maybe or even just like open chord stuff, like maybe like that CCR kind of rhythm, And today we're going to learn how to do that. We're going to break it down step by step, and just kind of as like a disclaimer, I guess we could call it, if you can already get that technique and mix it in with some of your strumming rhythms already, then I probably wouldn't watch this video. Some people just get that technique easier than others, and for some people we have to break it down step by step and try to get it done. But that's what we're going to do today. This is going to be a beginner's ultimate guide to finally getting that chuck sound mixed in with their strumming rhythms. So I hope this video helps you out, and if you have any songs that you want me to do or any other videos you'd like me to make, then please put some suggestions in the comments, and let's do this. Alright, before we get going, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, click that little bell thing, look at the links in the description of this video because I have a free best beginner chord chart in there. I have a video course that I made that can quickly take someone who's brand new to guitar and get them caught up where they can play along to most of these videos that I make. And then lastly, remember I teach guitar lessons on Skype, so if there are different techniques like this that you want some help getting down, or if there is a song that you want to learn and you can't find a video for it, or music theory, or songwriting, tons of different things we can do on there, then again, look in the links below and you can find out more information about that. Now on to this lesson, that chuck sound, and mixing that chuck sound in with our strumming rhythms. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And something that you should know before we kind of dive in here a little further is that there are more than one way to make this chuck sound. Sometimes people like to just kind of drop their knuckles on the strings. Sometimes people like to smack the strings with their thumb. We can even do it, honestly, with just all fretting hand muting. So just for an example of that, if I strum a chord and I release all the pressure on the chord but touch all of the strings, I can create that percussive strum, or that dead strum, those dampened notes, dead strings, whatever you want to call it. We'll just call it a chuck sound in this video. And if we want to get that technique down, and we want to get it down right now, then one important thing I want you to remember in this video is take each step that I'm going to give you, and don't just do it one time, do it several times. Do it as many times as you need to until it starts to feel comfortable. And if it starts to, feel too awkward, then just back it up a step or two and repeat the process. Step one is we have to feel comfortable with the palm position while it's making contact with the strings. So when I'm normally doing palm muting, the way that I do that, I just tilt my palm down just like this, like I'm basically karate chopping the strings, and I slide it real close to the bridge, and that'll help me still hear part of the note. So if I strum chords while my palm is down like that, we can still hear a chord. If I slide my hand up just a few inches, it'll deaden the strings even more, and we will not hear much of the chord at all. So what I want you to do, I want you to have your palm up a little bit, basically right where it would fall when you're strumming. And I want you to have your pick resting on one of your thickest strings. So maybe on your 6th string, maybe on your 5th string. And I want you to just kind of get used to your hand being in this position. You can do this when you're watching TV. You can just put your palm on the strings, touch your pick to the string, and just sit there. And again, it's not completely inactive. I do want you to kind of focus on how your hand feels and to try to make it feel relaxed and comfortable. We want to be comfortable in this position. Step two, I want you to go back to that position, and we have to get used to strumming strings while we are in this position. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to hit all the strings, even though sometimes when you're reading guitar tabs, they might put X's on all the strings. Most of the time, you're not really hitting all the strings. I generally hit just maybe a little grouping of 3 or 4 strings. So I'm just hitting some of these strings. So we're in the position, we're going to just start raking through, nice and slow, but digging in. We're just getting used to that motion, just as long as you want, until that feels comfortable. And then I want you to be able to do the same thing with a quicker, more crisp strum. So instead of raking through the strings, we're going to just chomp through them. And for the next step, we're going to use a chord now. So let's hold a G chord. So if you don't know how to play that, it's 3, 2, 0, 0, 0, 3. And in this step, we're going to get used to strumming a chord and then getting our palm in contact with the strings like we did in the first step. So it might sound like this. So I strum the chord, set down the palm. Strum the chord, set down the palm. Alright, now with this step, we're going to do that same strumming of the chord, but this time, when I put my palm down, I'm going to rake through the strings. So we have a strum and a rake. Strum, rake. Strum, my palm goes down and I rake. Once we start to get comfortable doing that, then I want you to do sort of a fast, kind of a chopping motion instead of the rake. So we just speed up the rake a little bit. Strum, chop. Strum, chop. And before we move on to the next step, I just want to say that that is the chuck technique. That is the sound that we're going to make. Now, most of the time when we would make this chuck sound, or at least when I make this chuck sound, I also release the pressure of whatever chord I'm holding and try to make contact with as many strings as I can easily get to right then. So in this case, when I'm hitting the G chord, right as I make the chuck sound, I'm relaxing this hand, and I usually kind of tilt my fingers down a little bit just to make contact with some of those open strings as well. If I were doing this on a bar chord, I could just release the pressure, and I already have a finger touching all of the strings at once. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to show you how to mix that chuck sound in with a common strumming rhythm. That way you'll have something that you can use when you're jamming with your friends or just, hanging out playing your guitar. So the next step, we're going to hold a G chord, and I'm going to start off the same way as we did before. So strum, then the chuck. And then right after the chuck, we're going to try to do an up strum. So this step is strum, chuck, up. Strum, chuck, up. Strum, chuck. I'm chucking down on the strings. Remember, it doesn't have to be all the strings. And then I'm coming up. Do that a bunch of times, and let's move on to the next step. Strum, chuck, up. Alright, we'll do that a whole bunch of times. Strum, chuck, up. Strum, chuck, up. Now for the next step, in this one, we're just going to add another chuck sound and then another up. And this is the full rhythm, but we're just going to do it one full time, and then we're going to stop and reset. And then in the next step, we'll try to loop them together. So this step sounds like this. Strum, chuck, up, chuck, up. Again, strum, chuck, up, chuck, up. So we're going to do that over and over again. A couple more times. Strum, chuck, up, chuck, up. And now for the last step, we're going to try to loop them together over and over. So right after that last up strum, right as my picking hand would come down, that would be the beginning of the next time through on the rhythm. So it sounds like this. Strum, chuck, up, chuck, up. Strum, chuck, up, chuck, up. Now that rhythm sounds pretty good slow, and it's cool to speed it up a little bit too. So that's a really solid, a really useful strumming rhythm, and if you practice that one over and over again, it won't be long before you can start mixing that strumming rhythm in, or mixing that chuck sound into other strumming rhythms that you know. Okay, good job guys. Let me know if you have questions or comments. If you have requests for songs for me to do or other videos to make, please put them in the comments. And let me know, did this video help you finally get that chuck sound mixed in with your strumming rhythm? Remember to follow me on social media, and if you can, please remember to hit like and maybe even share this video with somebody. The likes and the shares definitely help out. And I'll just see you guys next time.